Hey there. This is my new channel. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Redditors who at any point have been in such a deep state of depression that you didn't want to do anything, what is something that helped you get out of it? I commit myself to brushing my teeth every morning. I tell myself I don't have to do literally anything else all day, but this one tiny, easy thing I have to do. So I brush my teeth, with full permission to go back to bed and wish I was dead right after. But usually once I've done it, I feel like maybe I can do one more thing today. But that's all. I don't have to anything else at all today, but can probably manage to brush my hair. So I do that. And I just keep doing tiny, easy things, and when I can't do any more, I already gave myself full sincere permission to call it a day. So I lay on the couch and wish I was dead, and sometimes while I'm doing that, I'll think of one more tiny, easy thing I can do, and I'll do that, and maybe a couple other things. I want to be clear that it's not about tricking myself into being productive, it's about being accepting of my bad days and giving myself permission to do the absolute minimum until the next day, when I will re-evaluate where I am at and what I can do. I dragged myself out of bed and went for a walk with my little cousin. Having him hand me flowers and point out planes was the most hopeful thing LVE ever experienced. It was if Lee was seeing the world from his joyful perspective, instead of through my own hopeless one. At first, my son. I had to get out of bed, he couldn't take care of himself as he was way too young. 2,5/3 years old, but it got worse and worse and worse. I realized it was very bad when he came up to me with his toy car and I had absolutely no energy or desire to even say oh yes. Car. What eventually helped was being dragged to therapy by my aunt. Ijave had therapy for 2 years. After the first session I went home with one specific idea from my therapist and it helped me most. I put a journal next to my bed and forced myself to write one good thing about / for the day. It started with 30 pages of one line, made breakfast for me and son. Gradually there were 2 things, made breakfast for me and son, got dressed. 2 notebooks later I could write things as thought of a morning routine and eventually completed full morning routine. Have recovered but still have setbacks as I have recurring depression episodes. My son is now 9 years old and he kind of knows what is going on when I have one of the episodes and he knows about the notebooks. To this day I still use them. It has never gotten back to just one line a day. Most beautiful thing? If can't think of something. My son can think of something. They've even come across some things he wrote down for me without me knowing. They're like secret little surprises to find at night. Those are the best motivators. I'm so ashamed of my depression that the fear of my family finding out makes me act as normally as possible. My dog. Somebody has to take care of her. Sleep until I wake up and feel it again. That a bad bout of depression the end of last year. I wasn't going to end it, I don't think, but I didn't care if I'll died. Just straight apathy for living and everything. On my absolute worst night, after an entire day of sitting on the side of the bed and staring at the floor, I called my mother. It was late and though we are close, I don't often call her out of the blue. She knew something was wrong when she answered. The next day I made an appointment with a doctor and a therapist. I got on medication to fix my non-existent serotonin and started opening up about my feelings with professionals, friends, and family. I realized how much people cared about me. As the meds started to build up, I found myself exercising every day, just like push-ups and planks and stuff. I started buying more fruits. I eat a lot of berries. All this made me feel physically better. After a few weeks I got passed up for a job that I had interviewed twice for, thought I had, really wanted, and kind of needed. It didn't put me into a crashing depression. I was disappointed but it was just a problem to overcome. Depression is a sickness just like anything else. I totally understand that many of the Americans reading this don't have insurance, but a month supply of Lexapro using the GoodRx app is dirt cheap. Forced myself to see a doctor and get on meds. reading books, mostly fiction, and escaping reality. I gave myself permission to do nothing. This permission removed feelings of guilt and anxiety about the inactivity. Then, once I had given myself permission, I relaxed and rested. My body and mind needed that. Eventually, I got better and felt like doing something again. It's not that I don't want to do anything. I can't do anything. It is not possible. There have been times that I force myself to go for a motorcycle ride. I know it will make me feel better. It always does. So put on my gear boots, jacket, gloves, etc. And I walk into my garage. After looking at my bike, I go back inside and lay on the couch with my gear still on. Just used every ounce of energy I had and I don't have anything left. People who haven't experienced that level of depression don't understand that there is nothing at all you can do. Nothing. What's worse is that, when I am in that state, if had energy to do something I might just take my own life. Having no energy to get up kind of kills that dream, too. Antidepressants. That sounds like I'm being facetious, but I'm not. It's the only thing that's really worked for me. Astronomy. Something about realizing how huge the universe is, and still I was born. For what? Maybe just to be. For so long my depression came from not living up to the expectations I thought I should have been. So many people live searching for a purpose, but you are the purpose. Out of all the planets in all of the systems in the whole universe, we found ourselves in the one planet we know of that can sustain life. Also changing the way I see religion as a result. I was taught, Catholic, that we must live good lives to please this man in the sky. But with astronomy I started seeing everything different. To me, God is the universe. It created itself, and created us. Not for a greater purpose, but just to live. We don't have to strive to be a perfect human because we are already living in this heaven that as far as we know is the only one. I don't want to live my whole life for this afterlife and miss the one I'm in. Perspective changed. I am still in the thick of it, but what's helping now is changing my language around it. I've always thought just sucked and I was lazy and shitty and antisocial etc., but now I am describing those as symptoms of a chronic, untreated illness that I've struggled with for 20 years or longer. Well, now I feel like a goddamn gladiator. I experience lethargy, withdrawal, all sorts of symptoms, but they don't define who I am. I might not even know what I am, without depression, but those symptoms are not my personality. For me it was a combination of things. Music, learned to play guitar on YouTube, books, found out about Stoicism myself. I was listening to a Pink Floyd song, Echoes, and there's a part where they say I am you and what I see is me, and I realized that we are all going through something, and if I helped someone else then in return I was helping myself. Lo and behold, I started to feel better about myself after helping others. When I realized I was acting like my mother and doing what I swore I would never do, letting depression get the better of me. I went today and got new antidepressants. Honestly, my friends and family. I've been so deep into depression that I spent 2 days trying to take my own life. Repeatedly. I remember that I texted my best friend how I was feeling, but she didn't answer, so I immediately thought she hated me and wanted me dead. I climbed up on my balcony and almost threw myself off it. But my neighbor came home and I didn't want to traumatize them. I ended up in hospital hours later, but I was released. My friend texted back and her message was, "I wish I texted you back sooner." But what really sealed the deal was that I was in the psych ward following another suicide attempt. My entire family, unknown to me, was cleaning and refurbishing my apartment. I called my sister to check on my cat when I heard my other little sister. She didn't know where I was exactly, she just knew I wasn't feeling right in my head, so she kept repeating I love you over and over to make sure I heard her. Sometimes I still want to die, but then I remember her repeating I love you and suddenly I can either find the strength to continue or check myself into a mental ward. Oh, you made it to the end. Thanks for watching.